Everybody, we'd like to welcome you to All Things Apple Valley, and we're going to continue doing this as long as there's some interest. We like to touch base with our local agencies and political leaders to make sure that we know what's going on in our town, because we've always been a little more connected, maybe because of our size, than some of the larger cities around us. But I'm going to start out with Mr. Bishop. Give us an update on the town of Apple Valley, please.
Well, thank you. And good morning, Pat, and good morning to everybody that's on the Zoom meeting for Apple Valley, for All Things Apple Valley. The 800-pound gorilla in the room is obviously water, and I wish I could give you an in-depth report, but the bottom line boils down is after a long court trial, Judge Alvarez did not find in the town's favor. This is a preliminary decision. The town the other day did advise the judge that we will be moving forward and appealing his decision to the appellate court. It's just one of many steps of the judicial system in state of California can sometimes be extremely confusing. So just stay tuned. It is definitely not over, and we'll continue doing that. On a great note, Monday morning at 8 o'clock or 7:30, if you come to the town hall, you will not have your temperature taken. You will not have to wear a mask. We are very excited to be back open in full swing. So that's something that it's been a year coming, and we're just glad to get everything somewhat back in order. Forgive me, I'm going to have to read off some of we have so many events coming up that I'm going to have to read some of these. But all of the town council meeting, planning commission meetings, fully reopened back up to the public. You can still Zoom in a question if you want to, or a comment. We still have that ability. Not exactly sure what the legislation is going to do with regarding the Brown Act and how we do our meetings. We're still looking at how that's going to work. But summer is here, and we are going to have fireworks. People in Washington may not agree with that, but the town of Apple Valley will have its Freedom Festival at Brewster Park on July 4th. The gates will open at approximately 2 in the afternoon. In the past, we've had up as over 10,000 people. We're hoping for a great crowd. We want everybody to come out and celebrate our great American heritage and our 4th of July at Brewster Park, and come watch the fireworks. And as always, it'll be just a beautiful day, and we're excited about it. Our swim lessons, our semi-private and group lesson, summer day camps will begin on June 1. We're excited about that. If you like our concert, which I'm a huge person of coming to the Civic Center Park for our summer concerts. They'll start on June 17th with Latin Express. June 24th, my personal favorite, Fat Cat Swingers, just a local group. They're not young people anymore. I remember when they were all with the high school, and they were just great kids. July 8th will be Rockin' on Heaven's Door. It's a classic rock group. July 15th is the Mighty Cash, Johnny Cash cover band, and the Linda Ronstadt Experience. And on July 22nd is Neon Nation. It's sort of you're a little younger than me and you love that 80s music, and you're going to have a great time at the concert. As always, we will do everything we can to maintain the health guidelines. Bring your blanket and sit where you would like. I think I talked about some businesses last time, but we're excited that the Lowe's building, the old Lowe's building, is now been renovated and being used as a RV boat and storage. So we're excited about that. We have the Apple Valley Motel and Lodge is on Outer Highway 18, is open and doing business, and we wish them both the best of luck as they get busy. I think we talked a little bit about before Jersey Mike's, which my wife can't wait because they have gluten-free bread. is coming shortly to the Starbucks right there across from St. Mary's Medical Center, which
Excellent.
I know, you can watch the line of St. Mary's staff crossing over the highway in the morning going to Starbucks. It's just really, it's really great. We continue with our town's award-winning Shop Local program, and that's a critical thing. This has been a really difficult year on our businesses, especially our restaurants. Unfortunately, we've lost a lot of really good restaurants in town. I urge every one of you, this is a chamber function. Please, shop local is a key issue in the town of Apple Valley. You need to get out and support every one of our local businesses. I know that Amazon is doing an unbelievable business, and I can tell you the city of Ontario wants to thank you for all those tax dollars. But not only do we need to support our business people, but I need to remind everybody that 1% of that sales tax comes to the town of Apple Valley, and it's critical in our budgets. We are continuing, I think we have our small business grants. Those are grants between $30,000 and $50,000. These are grants. This is money that after 6 months, as long as you're still up and running, do not have to be paid back. The grants run between $30,000 and $50,000. And last count, I believe we have awarded 9 or have 9 in the queue. So we encourage every local business person that's having difficulties over this past year to please apply. It is the carrot. It is federal money. There is a lot of paperwork, but it does work for everybody. I'm not going to talk about COVID vaccinations from our wonderful St. Mary's Center, because I think Kevin may want to talk about that, and I don't want to step on that. Happy Trails Highway, to a lot of people, Highway 18 and Apple Valley Road. We continue our construction. If you're not aware, if you live in Apple Valley, I know poor Cindy drives it every day.
We are very aware.
Yeah,
that is moving along right online, actually just a little bit ahead of schedule right now. We're at the point, this will actually won't really open up completely until about November or December of this year, but that's going to make such a tremendous change and entrance into our community. So we're all looking forward to that. I just ask you all to please bear with us during this construction of one of our busiest intersections in the community, but you are going to absolutely love it when you see how it all turns out. And for me, one of the happiest things I love, we're going to have a controlled right-hand turn from Apple Valley, from Highway 18 going to Apple Valley South. We've had over 20 accidents in the last couple of years at that intersection, and it's going to be a big benefit. We recently had a Safe Routes to School grant, and we've been able to do a tremendous amount of work with our school districts and getting grants. And I know the schools have been extremely excited. Bright Line West, one of my favorite topics. I had lunch yesterday with Greta and a number of developers from the Inland Empire. I don't need to tell you what Bright Line West is. You all know about the train coming to Apple Valley. We truly believe in that somewhere in the end of the third or the beginning of the fourth quarter, that we will break ground for that. It's hopefully will be a 3-year construction time period. Now that time period is actually from Apple Valley, Las Vegas, but everything goes well. If everything goes well as what we're hoping for, that actually will also include going from Apple Valley to Rancho Cucamonga to the Metro station on Foothill and 8th, where people will be able to get on a Metrolink station, train, and LA, take it to Rancho Cucamonga, get on the Bright Line train, take it to Apple Valley and to Las Vegas. So we're extremely excited. Hopefully you all know about, it's like 1,200 housing units are part of the project.
Good job.
It's just so much tremendous growth. This is truly a regional project. And when I say regional, I've been around for a couple of days. Regional used to mean the high desert. This is a regional Southern California project. This is connecting Los Angeles to Las Vegas via Apple Valley, working on a connection from Palmdale and other cities more to the north. So it's just the beginning of a tremendous amount of great things. And I am looking so forward to the groundbreaking later this year.
Congratulations,
Pat,
Art.
well, thank you. I've been working. It's actually going extremely quick, but I've been doing everything I can to work on that. And Pat, I'd be glad to take any questions anybody may have on behalf of the town of Apple Valley.
When are you adopting budget?
So the budget is, if municipal budgets have to be adopted by the last day of June. We have already completed, as Pat knows, we had a citizens budget review committee which made 16 recommendations. I should have had that slide up. I will make sure we get it next time in. And I know, Pat, I believe you have a copy of the how the order is.
I do.
The town council is at a point now that we'll start our budget workshop. Our budget, the staff's had their budget workshop, taking into account the items from the citizens advisory. We will start in 2 weeks from now, and we unless we ask for an extension, which we are not going to, we will have a completed budget by the end of June. The budget will be a balanced budget. At this point, it will work. Whatever the shortfall is will be made up by our reserves. Our reserves are a little over $8 million. We have got to make a determination on how we're going to be able to increase funding for the town of Apple Valley, or unfortunately, there are going to have to be some pretty dramatic changes within how we do business within our community. So we are working on that. The short answer, though, we will have a balanced budget and will be completed by the end of June 2021.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Art.
You're more than welcome.
I don't see any questions in chat. If there are any, go ahead and put them in. But speaking of budget and the impact on Apple Valley, but positive as it is, actually, I was going to move on to the police next because Lieutenant Germain is with us. He missed last time. Randy, are you here?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, sorry I missed last time. I was having some technical difficulties and my computer would not log on to Zoom.
As long as you catch the bad guys, we don't care if you're good on Zoom or not.
Yeah, sorry.
Good morning,
about that.
Randy.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
So what's the status of policing in Apple Valley?
So for us with COVID, it didn't affect us as much as it did the local businesses and schools and hospitals. We didn't change the way we did business a whole lot, besides with masks and personal protective stuff for the deputies. But over the last year, we've changed a little bit. We're focusing more on quality of life stuff. So the criminal transients, we have 2 deputies now that their main focus is to go out and deal with the criminal transients, not just homeless, because it's not illegal to be homeless, but once they start panhandling and trespassing, and that's where these 2 deputies get involved with the business owners. We're also focusing more on traffic, because that's another quality of life issue. Get a lot of complaints about traffic. So we've added a couple deputies to our traffic division. And, I see a tremendous change, since we've done those 2 things. Hopefully you guys have too when you're out shopping. Besides that, we're looking forward to the Freedom Festival and concerts in the park. I know all the guys here are excited to see things kind of get back to normal. But besides that, that's really all we got going. Besides the normal everyday, calls for service.
We no changes in management at Apple Valley?
No.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Good. I like a stable town police force.
Right.
Amen.
I appreciate you taking the time to come and fill us in. And yes,
Yeah.
traffic has made a big impact.
Perfect. That's what I like to hear.
I'm not fear for my life at every four-way stop any longer, but for a while it was close.
Over the last year, when you drive on the freeway or just around town, it's crazy.
Yeah.
People are just crazy.
Yeah, those people from Utah and Nevada go 85 every day.
Right.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to move on to our school district because she has another meeting to go to. And boy, schools have been in the news, haven't they? Trinae?
A lot of stuff going on in public education, fully about funding, right? Like the largest amount of one-time funding ever to school districts that people can actually historically look back on. As a school district, we're using the term 3 horizons because we're looking forward, not back. And we are moving forward with summer. And summer school is going to be much larger than it has been in the past. We will do a lot of remedial things for students, but we also are going to make it fun. And so we want kids back engaged, social emotional support, excited to be on campus. And so there is a full summer school program for elementary students for 4 weeks, 5 days a week. And then our high schools will attend 2 sessions like normal, split over June and July, because of some credit issues if we don't do it that way. So we have certain requirements in order to issue credits. On top of that, we are moving forward with our in-person graduations. All 3 of our high school graduating classes, Granite Hills High School, Apple Valley High School, and High Desert Premier Academy will have in-person graduations.
Yay.
Nice.
We're 2 weeks
That's
out
great.
from, not next week, but the following week. We will be busy every night. And right now we're looking at the class of 2020. There was a commitment, although both of them had a drive-through graduation ceremony. We were committed to across the stage in the stadium if that was what they desired. So after doing surveys, we have approximately 200 students between the 2 high schools and High Desert Premier Academy. Right now, it appears that High Desert Premier Academy will add their 10 students to their graduating class this year and recognize them as the class of 2020. The other 2, we are looking at combining and doing an evening ceremony. You can't put the stage up and leave it up very long or you kill the grass in the stadium. So there's all of these things people don't recognize or know. We are moving the stage so that we can get under the criteria of outdoor events. We are only allowed to utilize 33% of the capacity, and it includes the students. So we are moving the stage to an end zone. We will use both sides of the stadium and allow each student to have 4 tickets, and we will stream live the graduation ceremony. So we're excited about that. We are looking forward to fall, full time, back to as normal as possible. I am a little worried. I just got a survey from the Department of Health that wanted to know how we're going to social distance kids in classrooms. We can do it. But 3 foot versus 2 foot, I don't know what the criteria will look like after the June 15th.
Right.
We are still requiring masks because I cannot legally ask if people have been vaccinated. However, as you're aware, things are changing on that front as well. We'll see what fall brings as far as requirements go. Our local control accountability plan is very close to being complete. We've taken 1 draft and we'll take the next draft to the June, I believe, 4th board meeting. That included community participation. And we have shifted several of our goals to support social emotional, including some hiring of social work and people that can do direct support to students that we don't have to farm out to other places. We also have a new plan that is required called Extended Learning Opportunity. It's funding that came from state and federal, and that will fund a portion of our summer school. It's one-time money, so it can only extend through this year and I believe next year. So we're looking at extending not every single day for students, but specific types of extension, allowing smaller groups to form for either intervention or social emotional support, and looking at some support for potentially a 7th period in areas where kids would like to explore other like electives that they can't get to because of how tight their schedule is. So we're excited about that. Lots of celebrations going on. I haven't had an evening without something, either virtual or in person. And as a superintendent, there's nothing better than to be out celebrating students.
Yeah.
We will have our first pop-up vaccination clinic here at the district office the day after our last staff work day, official teacher work day, which is Friday, I believe the 28th, without a calendar in front of me. And they will vaccinate anybody 12 and above. It's through the Department of Public Health. They're doing it throughout the county. And it is a Pfizer vaccine. So we're scheduled for that date. And then 21 days out, they will show back up on this property. Several construction property projects going on in the district. Sycamore Rocks is in their phase. Many of you, if you've been in the area, have seen their parent drop off and pickup that has taken a lot of the people off of the road. We won't know its true impact until we have kids back full time and every parent dropping a kid off or transportation. But that had then created a path of travel requirement on the property. So there's some major things going on inside Sycamore Rocks walls. And the joke there is that they want to put a hard hat on us and see if we can drop us in the middle and see if we can get out. I did it, so I know it's possible, but think about that with a bunch of kindergartners and first graders on campus trying to navigate with a bunch of fencing up. Mariana Academy is getting some new parking and ADA compliance. We're thrilled to see some new basketball courts for the kids. They feel really proud that they're going to be able to support our intramurals with a new facility, not indoor, but outdoor. And you'll see other projects like HVAC replacement throughout the district over the course of the next 2 years because of the funding that came from EDS. Likewise, it was mentioned about safe routes to school, but there are some new town supported school zones. So Bear Valley and Apple Valley Road Bear Valley and
Navajo Road
section of school zone. I will tell you that this morning, one of our officers pulled over some drag racing that was going on Navajo Road and actually ended up with an arrest on that because they were going about 90 miles an hour, straddling both lanes at start of school. Our jobs as the district school police is more to inform people, pull them over, talk to them about safety, and remind them not to behave that way in a school zone. We write very few tickets compared to past, but there are certain situations where it's a bummer if you want to go that fast in a school zone, not okay. We have expanded our learning or our family center support through a grant, and the school district property here on the old Apple Valley Middle School has transformed its kitchen into a food pantry. And so we are excited to continue to feed our local families who are in need. Likewise, and I'm just going to mention it, it's Pat Shelby that is behind that. She's retiring this year. And so we look forward to her meeting her STRS requirement and coming back and volunteering next year, because we know that she just can't let this part go. And then our logo that's on the slide has been modified a bit, and I'm going to get a copy to Jenny so that it can be added. It includes some work that happened over the time we were in the pandemic that identified our values as managers within this system that include the words dignity, community, authenticity, and service. And so you will continue to see those things, and we're going to work really hard to show that within the system as managers, those are the things that we value. We also have a new mission statement that includes support for academics, social, emotional, and behaviors for all students. And then I just want to mention that tomorrow I will be at the March of Dimes. Tom Scheibush is walking his 45th March of Dimes walk. And so I thought it was wonderful that whoever's phone got the call from March of Dimes at the start of this meeting, because it's a big deal that Tom is doing the 45th walk. And so it will be at Townsend tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I'll be there for a little while to cheer him on and then run off to the next thing that's on my calendar. But I encourage anybody that can be there to be there and support a great cause. Thank you.
Good. Just one question, Trinae. Do you have seniors graduating that still need to make up credits, and will they do that at high school, in summer school?
The new requirement is that they meet the minimum graduation requirements in the state, which is not what Apple Valley requires. So we have run our numbers. There are very few kids that weren't going to meet our normal graduation requirements versus the state mandate. So we're good. We will not have kids that carry over into next year. And our understanding is this will be for a couple years, because the minimum really does not make them college ready.
Right.
But it does make them career ready in several cases. So we're hopeful that our kids will continue to meet the Apple Valley Unified School District credit requirement as opposed to the minimum, because we want them ready to do whatever they choose to do in their future.
Good. Higher standards never hurt anybody. Sorry.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you. Jenny, who do you have on next? Oh, we did him. All right. Do we have a fire department representative? I don't know if Buddy Peratt is with us today, because I haven't seen him. Buddy?
Pat, I know they made an offer to a new fire chief. He's in background check. Hopefully our community will have a new fire chief in about 30 days.
Okay. I figured that was an ongoing process.
Yeah.
All righty. Then we'll move on. Donna Gilmore.
Yes.
It's been a while since we've heard from the Apple Valley Village, which is the premier and main shopping area in I call it Old Town, but the village. What's happening in the village? You've got new life with the market down there, don't you?
Yes, we do. And we're really looking forward to the opening of his other facility that's right next to Carpino. So big thing that's coming up for us is in July, we're going to go back and have the opening of the street fair and the car show. And this year we've added to have a chili cook-off, hoping that would
That's great.
bring some more people into our area. It'll all be held over there at the James Woody Park. And we're going to hold that on July 3rd. We figured then that way everything should be cleared up. We wanted to do it in June, but we were sort of worried about the stipulations and everything. So we moved it to July 3rd. I know that's going to be a problem with having the Freedom Festival on the 4th, but we're hoping that'll give the people in our area to come out and see actually what's going on in the village. Right now, we're working with the town on fixing the sidewalks and everything on the north side of Highway 18. But that's an ongoing project that we haven't even put out to bid, but we'll be looking at that. We've run into a couple little problems with the sides of the sidewalks and the different businesses and everything there. So those little kinks are going to have to be worked out before we can actually put it out to bid. But other than that, we're looking at starting up the parade in October. So we're hoping that everything will be up and running and be able to have the parade and everything at that time in October.
Almost business as usual.
Almost, we're getting there.
That's good news. People in Napa Valley need more to do when they're out of the house.
Yep.
Well, we're hoping that'll bring them down there. A lot of people aren't aware of the different things that are available in the village. So we're hoping that with having these different functions, that'll bring more people down there and make them aware of what's available to them down in the village area.
Good, good. All right. Thank you very much, Donna.
You're welcome.
Make sure any of those events get on to the Greater High Desert Chamber so that they get listed on that website also.
Okay, will do.
Thank you. Mr. Mahaney.
Good morning, Pat. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Real quick, we keep working on COVID 3 days a week, running a clinic from the Catholic Church. And like Trinae said, thanks to the school district, they're going to start running clinics as well. Pleased to report that Apple Valley, of the high desert communities, Apple Valley has the highest percentage of fully vaccinated residents. I think this morning on the website for the county, over 31%. And so some communities, more rural areas, not quite as high. And so something St. Mary is doing is trying to go out and support communities like Adelanto or Pinion Hills that have lower fully vaccination rates so that we can, when we open or as we open up, as fully as possible. This week has been ending what is called Annual Hospital and Nurses Week. And so we celebrated our healthcare providers and also at the same time gave service awards. We are implementing, I'm sorry, my notes here. Wanted to let you know that we just finished a very successful mental health summit. It was done virtually, and we want to thank the school districts for their support, including the students that they got involved. Want to just share, we continue to work with Matt Wells at Mountain Desert Economic Partnership and Mountain Desert Career Partnership on a new career field, we hope, for students, high school students. It's called a community health worker. And right now what we're trying to do is get the college to successfully pilot it here. And so St. Mary's staff have gone through it and actually taught a couple of the modules. But ultimately what we're trying to do is see if the the college can offer it to our high school students as a certification that they can obtain as they maybe pursue health careers. And this certification will help them really understand how to meet the social needs of patients that live in our high desert. That is a really big issue. As Trinae talked about, meeting needs of students with SEL. For us, it's meeting kind of housing and food and those kinds of issues. And so I'm pleased to say that we could see a career field opening up, a community health worker that our high school students get to. Pat, that's it, unless there's any questions.
No, I don't think so, but I noticed that almost everybody in their careers, has mentioned the importance, or somewhere along the line, mental health and the fact that people have a secure place to live has become so important, whether it's the schools or policing or everything. There's so much money and time spent on folks who need help that falls out of the normal purview of a teacher or a cop or a banker or anybody else. And the society is really in need of, like you said, Kevin, a community health worker sounds great, but hopefully they will also get some training in mental health because every facet of our society now has run into the problem where they're dealing with people who have mental health issues and wasting their resources when they should really be working on crime or education or something else. So it all blends in, but it's just unfortunately a sign of our times that people need more help than ever, I think. And of course, lockdowns didn't just exacerbated that. So
well, thank you, Pat. And Pat, your comment jogged something Randy mentioned earlier on He's got 2 on his workforce trying to address transient homeless. Randy probably already knows this. I think the city of Victorville is going to have their new contractor, the Illumination Foundation, running that homeless shelter. And I know Apple Valley and Victorville work well together. I think starting June 1, that shelter at West Winds is going to be able to take people who use substances. And that has been a challenge for us even at our hospital, that people who are actively using substances, let's say marijuana to alcohol, that don't want to get off of it, they've not been able to get into local substance recovery programs, either because they're Christian or the use of using substances is too much of a risk. But this new West Winds, starting June 1, is going to start accepting people who use substances and manage them accordingly.
Good, good. The more facilities we have for people in need in high desert, the better and safer our community will be in the long run.
Thanks, Pat. That's it from us.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm kind of at Jenny's. Who do we have next? Did we get somebody from Mojave Water? I don't think we did, which is interesting since we're about ready to go into all the drought rules and regulations. But I see. Let's move on then. Maybe Carol will have something. Oh, Desert Community Bank. How's your? Are we still loaning lots of money?
Yeah, yes, we are. We are still doing very well. Our lobbies, of course, are open now. We are continuing, our mortgage is doing well. And we also have home equity lines of credit.
What's the 15 and 30 mortgage rate today?
I don't know. I want to say around 3-ish.
Very low.
Yeah. We have our home equity lines of credit that can be as low as 3.99. So that's working well. And we also have a financial advisor for those other kinds of needs. And that's about it. The bank is doing well. Looking forward to getting back into the community, volunteering more and doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I hear smart people are taking a lot of money out of whatever their capital assets are before capital gains goes up and investing it or hiding it in the backyard, something anyway.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and they're getting their stimulus checks and taking out cash. So
Yeah.
they say spend it in the economy.
Well, if they don't end, then we're good.
Yeah.
All righty, moving on. Who's next? Let's see. Okay, now here we can talk about what's coming. Carol.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Do you have any updates on what the drought thing is going to bring us or not yet?
We do not have any official drought requirements or mandates coming out from the state at this point. Now, but we are extremely dry, as we've heard, very dry conditions almost consistently throughout the state. State water project allocation, which is our imported supply, is only at 5%. We've even heard that the Central Valley project, which delivers water to parts of Central California, is at 5%, but they don't even have 5% to deliver at this point. And so they're saying that hopefully they'll be able to do that later in the year. So conditions throughout the state, very, very dry. I think we might expect some sort of water use reductions in the summer, but we haven't been given any yet. So we're obviously going to be pushing conservation. We're going to want to see people voluntarily reducing their water use, but so far, nothing official, nothing mandated. As you heard from Council Member Bishop, Liberty did prevail in the eminent domain trial. So we are moving ahead with several of our capital projects that we had planned and in the works and ready to go. I think I told you last month, that we have a few that are already, contracted and ready to go along Riverside Drive, Mingo Lane. Those will be moving ahead very soon. Also, for those of you who live close to the Marianas, on the east side of Kiowa, the easement from Del Oro to Sandia. But we also have some other projects that are going out to bid soon along Rincon in the Yakaloma area. And then we'll be replacing some of that old leaky steel pipe in the Rancherias, Carlisle, and Wyandotte area. So we have a lot of main replacement projects that are going to be picking up and going out to bid and hopefully starting up within the next 2 to 3 months. And the good part about those two is that we'll be adding additional fire hydrants as we do those projects. And finally, I just wanted to say, you know, I heard from Kevin about mentioning Matt Wells and the Mountain Desert Career Pathways and the Mountain Desert Economic Partnership. We've been involved with them for the past several years as well. And I just really love the work that they do. It's so great and it's so encouraging to see efforts to get our local students who are not necessarily college bound working towards programs that put them into our local jobs and our local businesses. So really support that effort and that work. I think that's all I have, but I'm certainly happy to answer questions.
I don't know. I don't think we have any questions for you, but I think that's great. I wish there was, I hope that people that buy, you know, some of these kids coming out of high school realize the kind of jobs there are in water. And there's so many blue collar, get your hands dirty jobs that society needs that we can't fill anywhere because people just aren't taking those kind of roles. And it's a shame because it provides a good income and a great community member if you have a good job in a local industry like utility or anybody at the cement plant, any of those people, they all hurt for quality people.
Absolutely. So keeping those local students up here in our local jobs is really what we'd like to see.
Pat, I just want to jump in there. I know it's not my time, but Carol, they both commented on MDCP, which is housed here at Apple Valley Unified, but run by all 10 other school districts. We are the board. It does support also the Mountain Desert Economic Partnership. People are welcome to participate in those meetings. And the goal there is to educate, play, stay in the high desert. And we want people to work here. So that's the big outcome. And I think they're doing an incredible job to make that happen.
Agree.
Thank you. All righty. I've lost track of where we are, but I think you
Hey, Pat,
we have a short presentation from Mrs. Lamoureux.
Sure. Was somebody else jumping in there real quick?
I know Pat Orr. This is Rick Raleigh. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I've been logged in for a while.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rick. We passed you by, but I'll come back to you right after Chris is done, if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem. I'm on my phone, so I re-logged in again. So I think I'm good
okay.
now.
All right. Well, why don't you go right now? Because she's got a presentation just since you probably don't have anything to show us.
No, just my voice. So, I like the town. Mojave Water Agency is now live with their board meetings, and we had their first one last month. And like Archbishop said, water is front and center right now, and it's a hot topic. And unfortunately, the reservoirs where we get our water, which is Oroville, Shasta, through the Delta system, they're going to be curtailing it, cutting us back quite a bit. And but I'm in really good shape as far as aquifer goes in the high desert. So we're good, but if this continues for years, then it might be a different issue. With that said, I wanted to bring up again, there's so much interest in these marijuana farms and the water usage that's coming out of it. I know Fox News did a big expose, what was going on in the Palmdale, Lancaster area, which is, just similar to what's going on here, and how it's affecting the environment of the desert, the water levels of the desert, and, the criminal elements. There's a lot of moving parts to these marijuana farms. And a lot of people are looking to MWA to, take the lead on it. So our staff has has really spent a lot of time lately on these marijuana farms. So there was a study done recently by MWA on the amount of water that these illegal grows are siphoning from the groundwater, and they came up with between 2,000 and 3,000 acre feet of water a year, which in the scheme of things is really not that much when you consider that some of the big alfalfa fields out in Newberry Springs and Daggett area are using, you know, between 5,000 and 8,000 just alone. But the difference is they're paying for it, and they abide by the rules. Where the legal marijuana grows, they're not. They're criminal enterprises for the most part, and they are just taking water wherever. It's pretty obvious when you drive around town and you see these trucks with flatbed trailers with these large white tanks with the in the cages that are going up and down Highway 18, Apple Valley Road, Bear Valley, and they're all going out to these outlining areas and dumping the water. Well, the issue is, where are they getting the water? You know, they're opening hydrants, they're tapping into other people's wells, and some of it is being illegally obtained. So, you know, there is a big issue with these grows, and the sheriff's department did a report on it that there's 8 new ones per week that are going up in San Bernardino County in the high desert area. So for every one they take down, there's 5 more that go up. It is a big issue, and there are different counties have different ways of dealing with it. Riverside County seems to have their act together the best. What they're having the grows do is get a conditional use permit before they sink a well, and then they are able to regulate the location, the size, the aesthetics of it, the environmental issues. Where in San Bernardino County, there is no regulations. It's just you go down and you apply for a well permit. They ask you what's it for. It's either agriculture, residential, or personal use. And there's no questions asked, and they sink the well and they put up the grow site. And in LA County, the Board of Supervisors they turned over the well permits to the water district, the water agency, so it's similar to what MWA does out here. So, you know, they ask, you know, if it's for marijuana, if it's for this, for that. So there is some pressure being put on the county to step it up out here and to actually regulate a little bit of this, because as time goes on and as the drought continues, it's going to become a bigger issue. And it's irritating a lot of people because the water trucks are tearing up the roads, and the people that are paying for the water and playing by the rules, they feel like, you know, why are we playing by the rules when these grows are not? So it's a big issue, and it doesn't really affect the town of Apple Valley so much because the town is not as rural as Lucerne or Daggett or El Mirage or these other areas. So it's really hard to put up, you know, a big plywood looking structure in the middle of the town on an acre property without, you know, really being noticed, where it really affects it out in the rural unincorporated area of the county. So with that being said, the staff is spending a lot of time on it, and it's getting a lot of publicity. It's moving up to the federal level now, where I know Obernolte is getting involved, along with in LA County, it's Garcia who represents that area. I know that at the assembly level, Thurston Smith has some legislation that he's sponsored for the illegal water use. So it's getting a lot of attention, and rightfully so, because it's really a quality of life issue for everybody in the high desert. So, and with that, like I said, we're in really good shape. It's kind of a good indicator of how the water level is doing in Apple Valley. If you drive over Bear Valley Road, certain times you will see actually the water still making it to the Bear Valley Road. Well, the water is pumped out of the aqueduct from the Deep Creek discharge area. And if the water is actually making it down to Bear Valley, that means the aquifer is in good shape. Now in the summertime, it's dropped a little bit. You don't see it. But if you go up just past Jeff's Ranch in the riverbed, you'll see the water is still actually percolating to the top. So we're in really good shape. We're not at historic highs, but we're pretty darn close today as far as the aquifer goes. So with that, I appreciate the time, and hopefully see you guys next time.
Well, thank you. I hope whatever you guys can do to protect our water sources, appreciated. And I know it's interesting that how far we've come on our acceptance of marijuana, and now we're going to end up going after them because they're using our water. Forget the fact that it may be life-altering product, but we'll get there somehow. We'll make them pay. All
Yeah,
right.
it is unfortunate. You know, there are people that are playing by the rules, and that, you know, this whole marijuana thing. You know, there's other products out there other than just, you know, smoking it. There's you know, the oils and things like that, and that
Right.
there is a medical use for it, but it should be regulated. And that's you know, like any drug that's out there should be, you know, regulated and done the right way. And unfortunately, marijuana is, you know, it's willy-nilly, it's all over the place.
Right.
So
All right. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, Chris. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. And yeah, thank you, Rick, for bringing up those points. I know in Newberry specifically, we deal with a lot of farmers that are having hardships based on the mandate of using less water. And so the illegal marijuana grows are not going to help that situation. So certainly let us know how we can help the county or the town or any cities.
Yeah, just be diligent, and, you know, be involved. And people are writing letters to the editor, and they're showing up at you know, Board of Supervisors meetings. They're showing up at MWA, and it takes political willpower from the people to make these changes, you know. And hopefully the county will step it up. I know the sheriff's department has a big task force, and hopefully the county will keep funding the sheriffs to go out there and assist as well.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. People think, oh, it's just, you know, oh, it's just marijuana. They don't realize all the different impacts that those grows are having. So good points. All right. So moving on to a little bit more exciting news. No, I'm prejudiced in this respect, of course, but let me tell you what's going on in Apple Valley. So here is a snapshot for April last month. The housing number of sales in Apple Valley increased 41%, and the number of new listings increased 44%. Of course, if we remember last April, we were in lockdown, so I think these numbers might be a little high relative April last year over April this year. We'll get better numbers probably starting in June if you want to look year over year for the number of sales or number of new listings. However, we must recognize that the median sales price has increased 30.85%. So we did have 96 sales last April and 136 sales this April. So it's still a relevant statistic to take note of. Here's a nice graph that kind of shows in the blue, you can see the average sales price. Hopefully you can see my screen. But it's going up, as you can see. And the average sales price in Apple Valley in April was $401,000, and ending April with just over 100 homes on the market. The black line on this graph represents the number of homes on market. So you can see our inventory is super tight. And that's true throughout the desert and throughout the state and country, in fact. On this next graph, the blue lines again represent the sales price, but this time the black line represents the number of days on the market. So the number of days at the home from when it goes on the market to get sold has decreased dramatically. Of course, that means we have a very strong buyer demand. We have way more buyers than sellers right now. We feel for those buyers who are out there they're offering over listing price. I mean, 10, 20, $30,000 over listing price. They're removing all contingencies. They're doing whatever it takes to get a home. And so it's like a market we've never seen before. This is a super specific market. These have all the numbers that were represented in those graphs, but I'd like to point out, you can see here the number of sold listings in April, like I said, 136 compared to 96 last year. Looking at year to date gives you 4 months of stats, which I like to do. So the year to date, 424 in 2020 versus 476 single family homes sold this year to date. So an increase of 12%. So even though we have very few homes on the market, it's because that available inventory, they don't last long. It turns over quickly. The median sold price last month, 386,000 versus last year, April, 295. Like I said, 30.85% up. But if you look year to date, we're also still up 22% year to date, 355,000 median price for the 4 months of this year so far. Let's see, let's look at the average days on market. Incredible change. Year to date, you can see last year, year to date through April was 57 average days on the market versus 27 this year. And the list to sold price ratio is relevant in that, like I said, everybody's offering more than the listing price. So, you know, for the full 4 months, every home practically is being sold above listing price. So the seller's market is hot. A little bit broader view is San Bernardino County. You can see the median price in the entire county is 412,000. That's an increase of 30%. There's only 1,260 homes sold this year. Actually, I shouldn't say only, that's an increase of 19%, but there's only 858 active listings, a decrease of 66%, and an incredible 9 days on the market throughout the entire county. That just blows me away, but this one will blow you away even more. We'll jump to California, 8 days on the market average, just crazy. And we hit another median record of 758,000. That's the median price of the entire state. We are trending to sell 446,000 homes, and that's an increase of 19% year over year. With the average price per square foot in the entire state, and I can barely believe this, I mean, $357 price per square foot at 758. It's just crazy. You know, it goes to show you how affordability is important in our area, and that's why, of course, we have a lot of people moving to our area. So we're still one of the most affordable housing areas in the entire state. So, of course, all these stats represent a super hot seller's market. So you may ask, should I buy now or wait? So I wanted to point this out. Of course, Cindy can tell you more stats on this, but I just wanted to show you if you bought a house now for $296,000 at 3.1%, your mortgage payment, let's say, is $1,140, but you don't want to wait because interest rates, just ask Cindy, will probably start inching up. And the economists all predict that we are going to continue to have price increases. I mean, the new homes, the resale homes, they're all hot commodities right now. So they anticipate price increases throughout this year for sure, probably over the next 12 months. So it's kind of the housing market in a nutshell. I did throw some other newsworthy items here. The CDC just 2 nights ago allowed open houses for realtors, so we're super excited on that. Also, good or bad, Newsom announced the intent to pay landlords 100% of unpaid rents due to COVID. I say good or bad, I mean, that's great for landlords that have been, you know, of course, impacted, but of course, somebody's got to pay the piper. And the federal judge, of course, you probably heard by now, vacated the national eviction moratorium. But California still has their eviction moratorium in effect. So, but that's a good trend also for the landlords that have, you know, virtually been handcuffed during this pandemic. The 1031, I heard, I think, I'm not sure if it was Art or Pat mentioned 1031 exchange benefits are on the chopping block. They want to at least maybe do a cap of 500,000. So we're hoping this gets defeated. That affects the real estate market and investors tremendously. Also, of course, record-breaking lumber prices like we've never seen before. And I just saw a stat that it's adding an average on the average house new home build of $35,000 increase just on the lumber alone. And finally, to end on a positive note or give you some hope, both Bloomberg and the California Association of Realtors agree this is not a housing bubble. We get asked that a lot, but only 2 out of the last 5 recessions were housing related, actually 3 out of 5. And of course, we remember the last 2 were housing related. So everybody is afraid, of course, as the house prices continue to increase dramatically, are we going to have a housing bubble burst? But because of the supply and demand, that we have just tremendous demand and still the low interest rates, so affordability on mortgages, they're not expecting this to be a housing bubble yet. So that's the good news. That's all I have.
All right, thank you so much. I think, are we done with our regular lineup? I believe we are.
Yes, we are. Thank you, Pat.
Okay.
So I will briefly just go ahead and do an update. I'm Jenny Flores with the Greater High Desert Chamber. So our next event coming up is our after hours virtual mixer. This is on Tuesday, May 18th. It's from 5 to 6 p.m. It's only $5 to attend. Our mixers have been so incredibly fun. It's a great opportunity to promote your business, meet new people, and find out, fun facts about businesses. So it's a great event. I highly encourage you to attend. You can register by going onto our website, or you can also register. I know that Mark sent out a blast email. I believe that went out on Wednesday. So there is a graphic. You can click on the graphic and that will take you to the registration page. So I highly encourage you to attend that one. It is really fun. Our next coffee break is Friday, May 21st at 9 a.m. on Zoom. And we have sponsorships available for coffee break. The sponsorships are only $75. It is a great affordable opportunity to get your business out there. So if you are interested in sponsoring a coffee break, you can let myself know, or you can let Mark Creffield know. I did put our email addresses into the chat box. And our next Valley Morning Insight is on June 2nd, and that is 8 a.m. And that is also on Zoom. We are hoping that that is our last Zoom Valley Morning Insight, and we are hoping to resume meeting in person in July. So that is our goal, that is our hope, and we will of course keep our membership updated on that. And we have our High Desert Regional Open Golf Tournament coming up on June 25th. So our tournament is sold out except for our T-Sign sponsorships, which are only $150 each. So if you would like to promote your business at our golf tournament, please let myself or Mark Creffield know. Great opportunity to promote your business. We're also looking for donations of items to put in the goodie bags for the golfers. And, it could be pens, it could be chopsticks, snacks with your business card attached to it. Just, anything you might have to promote your business. And then that also, gets your business card into all of our golfers' hands. So if you would like to donate something towards our goodie bags, again, let myself know, or you could let Mark know. That's all I have for our chamber update. So if you don't have anything else, Pat, I believe that's it.
I just want to tell people that there is also a raffle at the golf tournament, and I have tickets I have to sell. So
yes.
Or if you'd like to donate something for the raffle, you can call me or contact me, and I'll come to you and pick it up. And other than that, enjoy your rest of your day and encourage people to come to the next All Things Apple Valley and ask questions. That's what it's about. You only get this one opportunity to talk to people who know what's happening in town. So thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And our next All Things Apple Valley meeting is on June 11th. So go ahead and mark your calendars. I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. And you should be able to unmute yourself if you would like to give a final goodbye. And we hope that everybody has a safe and a fun weekend. So
Bye,
take care.
everybody. Have a great day.
Everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.